Welcome, welcome. Today is the year 2025, the 20th day of the 12th month, December. The reason I said that is because it's coming from it's the opening sentence in my book, A Time Traveler's Awakening, which I'm going to talk about a little here. But I'm also going to do a clarification because now the map is done. In the prior video of the clarification, the map was, like I said, a work in progress. It was structurally complete, but now it's been refined, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to show you like the Wilberian original model, and then you're going to see the difference. And then I'm going to talk about the really, really interesting convergence with the image you're seeing on screen here, and that's the work of Hilma af Klint, which was on the cover of one of Wilbur's books, but it's also like art that is kind of circulating right now. She had like a very cool intuition about 100 years ago and made these images that like now converge with this structure like 100%. It's a one-to-one mapping, so it's kind of incredible actually. It's a really nice kind of confirmation, that we're actually very much on track. So yeah, a little about my book. You can find the book A Time Traveler's Awakening on Amazon.com books. And I'm going to put the links in the first comment and in the description. I don't really know, like, I'm not very familiar with YouTube, but I will try to make it visible. And that book is like, I don't want to say too much about it, but like it's very affordable. And yeah, you're going to have some fun with that one. And then the second book is called The Fourth Paradigm. And that book contains all my work, the scientific papers, and that ties back into this. And then like, if you read only the scientific papers as an author, it might be a little unconnected. But in the book, I've structured it like there's a word to the reader, then the papers follow, and then I talk with my own voice and like, I don't do so much explaining of everything. Instead, I try to orient people of how to move in this paradigm, the fourth paradigm, which Wilbur called the fourth turning, which is the same thing. We're talking about the same thing, because we have the pre-industrial paradigm that took like, I don't know, 1,500 years, something like that, or even more. And then you have the industrial paradigm, steam engines and stuff, when things started to move faster. Then you have the technological paradigm that's like from the 50s or something like that. Since the nuclear age, you can say we've been in like the technological paradigm. And now and that was like even shorter than the industrial paradigm. And now we're moving into the fourth paradigm, which is this kind of convergence of everything, basically. It's like the spirituality is converging, the understanding is converging, the knowledge is converging, and it's structuring itself into a new kind of mind that is like the AI models, which are not aligned yet, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. But and this work will actually help them align properly to the human AI. It will solve the human AI alignment problem, and that's a big claim. I'm open to being wrong, but as far as I can tell, it's actually accurate so far. But enough of that. So the links are there if you want to like read about this work in a different way in a book that's very affordable. There's a very, very affordable version of it. It's like $4 ebook. I wouldn't recommend that, but like, I made it available for someone who doesn't have the funds yet. And then there's a soft cover and a hardcover. I would recommend the hardcover because like that's how I prefer books. But yeah, to each his own, they're all versions are available. They're all very affordable. I've made them affordable for everyone. And so I'm not very interested in being like some YouTube character or something like that. I will be here to talk about things that matter to me. But yeah, the books are where the work is, basically. And I think you're going to enjoy it, both of them. Anyway, okay, let's get back to the map. Okay, let's talk about Wilbur's original map here. Oh, where is it? Here, this is Ken Wilber's stages of consciousness. As you can see, it's just a like it's a very, very well done, you know. But the things that happen here are kind of, they stay open, you know. These are aspirational projections, and um, they're not structural yet. So uh, yeah, you can go back and look at this map. Like you just Google that, and you can see his projections. And then we're going to talk about the current map. So as you can see here, the AVATEMETAVA framework, structural map of human consciousness. And like what's different from last time is this line has been drawn and made kind of thicker, because this is like a phase shift. What happens here? Like up to here, this is the old structure. This is the old paradigm, okay? This is paradigm, the third paradigm, the technological paradigm. This is where majority of humanity is. And everyone has aspects, like we all like embody all of these aspects, but like they're more dominant, like in different stages, and as we move on. And like that's where the Hilma of Klint's work will make more sense than this kind of just you know, very constraint map, because we have to have constraints to make it understandable, navigable. And so I don't talk so much about tier 1 and 2, because I just that's already settled for me. We understand it. You can like the interesting part is like from tier 2 to tier 3 and tier 4. This is where like my work comes in, and actually this is why we needed the refinement to the existing map, because this kind of completes it. Now we have an entire map of human development, and like it's a structural map, you know. We can follow it, we can use it, we can navigate, we can orient, we can locate. It's very usable. So yeah, so that's the main difference. You know, tier 3 and tier 4 have been like combined, because they're not hierarchical in that sense. They're just structurally different. Uh, Before I used to have like a map between 3 and 4, and then I realized, okay, that doesn't make sense. Like now there's too many hierarchies, you know. But now it's like this is a more accurate representation of it. And you will see why this is interesting, because this aligns with Hilma of Klint's work. This is some of the works I used before, like before I reached clarity, let's say. This is a nice one. Yeah, and let's take a look at this picture first. Like if you've seen this picture before, it's fast. It's incredibly striking how much it aligns to this model. You see how she made this structure. And I used to always wonder about this. I'm like, why is this pyramid on top? You know, I didn't get it. And like, what is that hole in the middle? Like, but it's actually now I realize it's a structural necessity. You see, it's not really demonstrating a hierarchy. It's demonstrating like the light is kind of projected through that structure, and then that's why the structure becomes possible. And you can see kind of the colors are matching, but in a different way. Her color scheme is actually more accurate to how it actually is. As you can see, the colors become less defined the further up you go, which kind of aligns with this model. Like colors become less dense, and at the top you have like, you know, the sphere that just, you know, projects light, and that comes through this little structural pyramid on top, or triangle, which just, you know, projects the entire developmental model, and how, you know, how consciousness is basically structured uh, after like the developmental kind of stages. Um, yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm a little, you know, use a lot of and stuff. I'm just, you know, working. I don't have a script or anything, so I'm just doing the best I can. I really would like to point you back to the books and the work to kind of get a more direct understanding. So as you can see, everything aligns perfectly. And now we're going to look at some of her other works. You see this? This is what I was talking about, the phase shift. This is the line, how it aligns to her work. Like we're seeing the same things basically, but they're like upside down, turned on each other, and they're mirroring each other. This reflects to the back to the old saying, like as above, so below. This is reflected here. This is very interesting. What I say here, structural, symmetric, geometric cognition. And she was actually able to intuit the cube and how like they're quadrants basically. They're psychic quadrants, and they must look this way because the mind is like a hypercube, not like as a metaphor or like literally, but structurally, like functionally, the mind is a hypercube, and I will like expand on that in like later videos and stuff, and that's also why the mind is so tricky because it keeps reorganizing itself like after this hypercube, fourth dimensional hypercube structure. And so as you can see, like the the upper and she was even more explicit. Like I thought first the line was pretty harsh, but like no, actually it's even harsher or even more mm, defined through her work because she didn't have the constraints of language. She could just express it through art. So yeah, I think that's that. That's what I wanted to clarify. And I wanted to point you back to my book again. And I wanted to say like the map is complete now. You can look at it and you know it's very useful. And I'm making this video again because so the last video is actually being like watched. There've been like 74 or I'm sorry 47 views, so that's good. That's non-trivial. So I just thought I'd make this even more clear and inform everyone that the map is now complete. It like converges back to Hilma of Klint's work. And yeah, thank you. I'm not going to linger. Thank you so much. Goodbye.